way back. That's how I met my wife.
Oh.
How neat.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting intersects with the Osmonds in Provo.
Isn't that something?
Wow,
oh, my God.
That's very
And now
interesting.
he toured with his brothers and sisters, and you did the same thing with your band.
Yep.
Was it Weirs? Is that how you say that?
Yeah, the Weir family, the Weir's Caravan, because my full name is Michael-Damian Weir.
Okay.
And then I went by Michael-Damian when I was 16 because I was trying to convince Tiger Beat magazine to come and see me perform at the Troubadour, and so I wrote a letter claiming to be my own manager, and I had to, so I couldn't really, say, come see Michael Weir, sign Michael Weir.
Mm-hmm.
So I was with my brother, and I was like, Larry, you got to help me out. And then they're like, oh, no, your name is still Weir, too. So I said, okay, you know what, Larry, you sign Larry Weir manager, and I'll say, come see singing sensation Michael-Damian at the Troubadour. And sure enough, Tiger Beat magazine sent a photographer, photographed me, and put me in the magazine as Michael-Damian. And then I had to stay with Michael-Damian. I couldn't say, oh, by the way, my real name is Michael Weir, Damian Weir. So little trivia for you. Don't tell anybody.
That's true. That's true.
No, we'll keep it to ourselves.
Yeah, because I had to pretend I had a manager, and so I was like, Larry, come on, you be my manager. That's my brother, Larry.
Oh gosh, that's what you call ad-libbing on the fly.
Well, listen, whatever you can do to get a break. I mean, just don't do anything, mean.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of how it happened.
Well, with having a musical family, would you say that's probably what helped, of course, get you into your musical career? If they didn't go that route, do you think you would have still done music?
Well, I don't really know. That's a good question. You don't really know how things. My dad's an architect, but he was also a singer, and just for hobby, and that's how my parents met. So, really, music has been, part of my life. I just can't imagine my life without it. Mm-hmm. And but I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it was for music, because that's sort of why my family moved from Escondido, and from San Diego County to L.A. to get closer to the business, and you know what I mean. I did a lot of things based around music, and everything sort of was, carved out and catered to me trying to get a break as a singer, and my parents were so very generous and supportive. So I don't know what would happen, or where I'd be. I'd be a baseball player, because I also love baseball.
How many years did you play it?
Not enough. But
Not enough.
And then my career would be over at 30. So I'd be like, I'd have been bummed.
Well, now let me ask you. You have been on both sides of the camera. Which do you like the most?
Well, I like both sides, just because I'm able to, I love being an actor. I love working with actors from a directing standpoint. When you're a writer, director, producer, you're so much more involved in the, from the concept to the script to the, finding the cast, to the locations, to the whole film and crafting it. So you are so much more involved as a director and a writer, and that I love. But what's great is that, having been an actor and working with some great directors as an actor, I've learned a lot about being on the other side of the camera. So so much of directing is how you relate and communicate to an actor. And so that's where I try to really focus on how I can connect with the actor to get the best performance out of them, and for them to be at their optimum and in the moment when we're shooting. So it's fun. And then, I was on Young-and-the-Restless last month, so I got to experience what it's like from an actor's standpoint again.
Right.
So,
right. I was going to say that had to help.
Yeah, it's really good. It helps me keep tuned and sharp, in tune and sharp with what they're going through and how to connect with them. So I find both acting and directing very enjoyable and very exciting and creative.
What do you feel is the difference besides the singing part of being in or directing a video versus TV show or a film or something? Do you think there's a big difference or no?
Well, as far as directing or
yeah.
directing a music video and doing a movie?
Right.
Well, a music video is sort of like a small vignette. A film is completely different. A film is very complicated because you've got these scenes, these small scenes, but they all have to come together and connect as one. So it's very challenging to make a complete film that people are interested in from the beginning to the end. It's a lot easier when you're doing something for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, but when you try to entertain people for an hour and a half to 2 hours,
right?
It becomes weird.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So each scene I shoot, I just try to make it the best possible scene that we can make. But it has to connect to the scene prior to and the scene coming in that we're going to lead into, So you have to always be thinking ahead and you have to be thinking backwards when you're directing, because things are shot out of order.
Right.
So you have to imagine where the character will be,
And you have to take a lot of notes because when you do them out of sequence, right?
Sure, you make notes, but you have to track the character story and the character, and make sure you're directing the actor to hey, remember we're shooting this today, but you haven't experienced this yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh yeah.
So it's very interesting. Unlike Young-and-the-Restless, where we shoot pretty much in real time, what we shoot that day is pretty much what you're going to see air, and it's not really that much out of order.
Mm-hmm.
That is shot. It's shot, within that week or with that day. Actually, we shoot the show a day. Now I think they break up one show a day or one show per week, so it's a little bit of it's a little more complicated over at Young-and-the-Restless now because they've taken some days out of the schedule.
Oh, okay.
To save some money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw something about 4 days a week or something like that. I can't remember.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of Young-and-the-Restless, it was great seeing you on recently. I always love when Danny returns to Genoa City. It's always, it's just like I've followed the Young-and-the-Restless for, I don't want to say how long because that'll tell my age, but it's been probably 4 decades. And I always loved the Danny Cricket, Nina Phillips storylines. To me that was, such a big deal and big storyline back in the day. So to have that kind of brought back into, the current day, it's been wonderful. And are you expected to be back on there at some point in the near future?
Well, I'm not sure exactly. First of all, it was really fun. The last run I did, had a great time working with Laura Lee and Doug and Tricia, who plays Nina, and Michelle Stafford, who plays Phyllis, and just the whole, and Tracy Bregman, who plays Lauren. It was a great experience. It was like kind of like the Breakfast Club. It was fun being all back together.
Yeah.
But as far as the future of the character, I'm not exactly sure what they're planning. That's a very good question. I don't really know what the writers, because they switched writing teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they have planned. From your perspective, how are you liking the new shows that have been airing lately? How does it feel to you?
Absolutely love it.
I love the new storylines and how they've, kind of brought some things full circle that were kind of left hanging open. And I love, with your character in particular, I love how the writing teams, no matter who they are through the years, have kind of left your character in place, so that you can be brought back at any given time, to say Danny's off touring. That's, and I'm glad that they allowed you to showcase your real talent and bring it into they wrote that into the script for the Young-and-the-Restless. So that allowed, viewers like myself the chance to see, you from so many different sides, not just an actor, performer as well. And so I really am pleased how they always kind of use that as the reasoning behind why Danny's not on the show right now. He's off touring, So it's always great because when you come back, it's like, oh, he's off tour, great.
Yeah.
So the
awesome.
new writing is
That's
the new
great.
writing is wonderful. It's the storylines are really ramping up, and there's a lot of exciting things going on. So no doubt. So I do hope they bring you back because I think there's a new storyline with Laura Lee and Doug that is starting to kind of build up some steam.
She's cheating on you, Michael.
Really. Cricket is cheating on Danny right now. She's kind of flailing back towards Paul.
Oh my gosh! And I thought things were progressing. I'm really devastated. I'm gonna have to call her.
I really hate to be the one to tell you right here on live on air in front of millions of listeners, but someone has to, right?
I'm getting all the dirt right now. Danny, you know what? I'm going to call Cricket right now. That's just... I heard you cheated on me.
I was really surprised, about that because, when you were on last, it just seemed like, I kept going, gosh, I wish they would just, the two of them could get back together because they had brought that storyline from 20-some years ago, back to the forefront with Phyllis and the whole 9 yards. And so it was just so neat for, reminiscence sake to see you and Marley, carrying
that hot.
Yeah, no, really. So I'm not really sure what the writing team is thinking right now with the whole,
maybe it's going to be a triangle.
Yeah, I think maybe there was a bit of a transitional period that things needs to get worked out. But what's really great is I really have enjoyed the relationship with the show because, as what you just said, I've been able to, I've always had sort of this open door policy with them where I've been able to, because I really, I can never do what I'm doing right now if I was under contract full time on the show.
Right.
So, because the fact is, you just can't direct and make films and have a full time acting contract. It's impossible. So, it's really great that I'm able to make these films and write, and because I pretty much travel, I'm all over the place. I'm either in Romania or Canada shooting, and so it would be impossible to shoot Young and the Restless in LA and do all these other things. So it's really great the way it's worked out. And I told them if I'm in town and you've got a great story, call me, and if I'm in LA, I'll be there, no problem.
Yeah.
So. You never know. They may say, "Hey, we want to do now a triangle thing," and then I just hope it works out that I'm here in town and not shooting. But so far it's been great. It's worked out really well, and I feel bad just because I know a lot of viewers thought I was gonna, because of the lead up and how Danny and Cricket were really, it was really igniting. Like it was getting pretty intense. And then all of a sudden, they kind of are a bit thrown by by her now wanting to hang out with Paul, which of course I'm very depressed about. This is terrible.
Well, I will tell you from a viewer perspective, it's through the years the way they have kind of brought you on and off Y&R. And the whole premise of you're off touring or Danny's off touring. I think, like, for me, whenever I see you, I know that it's going to be a brief period and you're going to go back touring because that is your life as a character. So I never expect you to come in. I would love for you to be there permanently if your real life and schedule permitted it. But I think for the storyline, it's kind of an expected norm, almost.
Sure.
And so, I almost expect them to call you in the near future because I think that would almost be a little bit open-ended if, like, Chris and Danny are picking up where they left off and their relationship is kind of coming back together. And then now she's kind of this whole Paul thing that started. So I almost think Danny's going to just kind of come busting in and go, what in the world is going on? So. Oh, yeah.
Danny's going to show up with airline tickets to go back to Hawaii where we got married. He's going to be like, hey, I got the tickets, let's go.
Yeah, I know. That would be so cool. And then she's in a real quandary because, who does she choose? It would be 25 years ago all over again.
Yeah, and then I'll say, okay, fine, you can bring Paul with us if you want.
Oh, I don't think so.
But he's going to have to stay in the other room.
But to the new writing team's credit, I am so